Beloveds, it's your girl Clementine from Big Empress Energy. I'm sending you beautiful, bountiful blessings. Be open to receiving them. Mis amores. It's your girl Clementine, and this is Story Tea. Okay, we're gonna find out about me. Okay, so you guys know my name is Clementine. Okay, and I am a psychic tarot Reiki practitioner. You may follow me on Instagram at Big Empress Energy or follow me here and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for all of the continued support. I get a lot of questions about my journey, so I come here to answer some questions, okay, to give you guys a peek into my life, to dissolve some of the mystery, okay, about my background, who I am, and how I went from being a middle school teacher in the South Bronx to being a full-time, okay, six-figure spiritual entrepreneur. Okay, so I'm gonna go into a little bit about my background, some questions that people had, and my story. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it short, and if you would like to see more videos about this or have any more questions, please leave them in the comments. Okay, please subscribe to my channel and share this video with a friend to inspire. Okay, this means that if I can do it, you can do it. Yes, you boo. Okay, anyone can get in alignment with their purpose. Anyone can get in alignment with their dreams, okay? But it just takes a little bit of faith and trust and consistency, okay? Mira, you do not have to have your shit together to be successful, okay? Spirit wants you to know you do not have to have your shit together to be successful, okay? This is a myth, okay? We are constantly creating and evolving and going through up levels and ascensions, okay? Some of the things I'm gonna talk about today is my own spiritual awakenings and ascensions, okay? So you guys know too, I am not like, oh, far away from where you are, like, in this journey. Like last week I was going through so much shifting and so much shedding, okay? I was just like crying in a corner, okay? People think a spiritual awakening is all about sage and crystals and tarot cards, but let me tell you right now, it really is about facing your shadow side and integrating your higher self, okay? It really is about finding out and going back to who you truly really are and your authenticity, okay? So is this like snowing? It looks like it's literally snowing. So you guys know I'm in New York, okay? I live in New York. I was born in New York. I was raised in New York, okay? I did move around. It's literally snowing right now and it didn't say it was gonna snow. So wow, okay, that's fine. So a little bit about me. I'm from New York, okay? Currently, at the time that I'm filming this reading, I was about to say, the time I'm filming this story tea, I am in my early 30s, okay? I'm about to be 32 in May. I'm a Taurus gang. Shout out to the 12th house suns. And I'm also at this time working for myself, okay? I have been working for myself for about like 2 years, and it's been not even a year that I have been full-time entrepreneur, a full-time witch, okay? It hasn't even been a year. So I'm about like 6, 8, 7 months into the full-time entrepreneurship, okay? So I'm still very early, still very fresh. Right now I'm almost at 10K subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys so freaking much, every single one of you guys who checks in, who has the alerts, who watches my videos as they drop, okay? You guys know I usually do psychic readings, so this is about my life though, okay? And we're gonna get into it. Another thing I need y'all to know is that at this point too, I don't have everything like together, okay? I'm just giving you a peek into my life, okay? So we have 10K on YouTube. We have about 50K on Instagram, okay? I started my Instagram way before I started my YouTube. I started my Instagram in 2018, and this is 2021 as I'm filming this in January, okay? About mid-January. So it's been a little bit of a minute, right? I've been doing this. I've been really letting myself uncover more and learn about yourself. The spiritual journey is really a journey to your higher self, is really a journey that's going to be uniting you with your spirit, and it's a journey that is soul led. That means you have to leave your ego at the door. You have to leave these human conceptions and misconceptions at the door, okay? So let's start about a little bit about my story. I'm from New York, right? I was born in the Bronx, okay? I spent a lot of time raised in Queens. I went to Catholic school growing up. I went to an all girls private school in high school in Queens, and that was a lot of fun. I've always been into tarot, and I got my first deck when like in high school, like about 16, 17, I got my first tarot deck from Borders. And I didn't know anything about tarot, but I just knew I was really interested in it and interested in the symbols, but it seemed like it's another language. Okay, tarot is basically another language. So I had to like use it as a tool and get to know it. So I would give myself readings a lot, okay, which can be really confusing if you're trying to find out about things that are like passing by. So I would give myself readings on dudes I was dating and like give my friends reading on stuff like that. And we would have like sleepovers and give each other readings. And this was something I used to love to do, especially in my early 20s. And I always had my tarot card, my first tarot deck, and I will keep it with me. Now, in my early 20s, I traveled around a lot. I used to live in North Carolina. I used to live in Seattle. I used to live in LA. And I also lived in San Francisco, okay? In San Francisco, I was working as a waitress at Pier 39, okay? Shout out Fog Harbor Fish House. And it was so crazy because at that time, my name on like I think on Instagram and everything was Clementine Cosmos, okay? And when I went to take an interview at this fish house, they had a cocktail called Clementine Cosmos. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to work here. So I worked there for a few years and I met my baby daddy, okay? And I got pregnant in 2016. I got pregnant. So I was about 27 when I got pregnant, and I was like, wow, I'm really far away from my family. I'm really far away from my support system. So I'm about to move back to New York. So me and my ex moved to New York, and we started living at my parents' house. My parents live on Long Island. So we started living in there, and we shared a room. And then basically when I had my son in March 2017, me and him ended up splitting, okay? It was not a healthy relationship. Sometimes when you are not in a good space, you can attract partners who are also not in a good space. So we ended up splitting very shortly after I had our son, and then he ended up moving to California. So at this time, it was really when things started to change for me because I had my child at this point. Before in my 20s, child, I was a hot ass mess, okay? I was really a hot ass mess. You know what it was for me personally? I'm a very sensitive person, and I pick up a lot on energies, and people who are really sensitive, sometimes we can go towards escapism because we are afraid of our gifts, or we are kind of gaslit, or we are taught to believe that we're crazy and stuff like that. So instead of feeling all the things I was feeling, like other people's emotions and everything, I was like, you know what, let me just try to have a good time and have fun. So I was chilling. I was in parties and everything. When I was in my early 20s too, I'm reminded that I also came out as a lesbian, okay? Ended up just finding out I was just queer and sexually fluid. I don't identify my sexuality. I just embody my sexuality. Oh, I don't identify my sexuality. I embody it. So I thought I was a lesbian. Then I was like, no, I'm not. I moved to California. I got pregnant with my son. And then something that I had did when I was pregnant, because I said, listen, I'm a server at this point, okay? And the job with the hours, being a waitress, you working all type of hours. I wouldn't get off work till like 11 to midnight. And when you a mom, sometimes you might want to be home with your kids. So I said, let me find out. Let me try to get a job where I could have some more stability and some more stable hours and everything like that. So when I was pregnant, I applied to the New York City Teaching Fellows, okay? So this is a program in New York City where if you got accepted, they basically pay for you to go to school. So you don't have any like student loan debts. You do have to pay like, they take a little bit of money out your salary basically for that time that you're enrolled in school. So, but it's like minimal compared to what a full tuition would be. And I became I got accepted to New York City Teaching Fellows, and that's how I became a teacher. Okay. Prior to that, I had just had a bachelor's in creative writing. So that's my number one goal in life, is to be a writer. Okay. That's something I've always been interested in, something I've always loved to express myself through words and everything like that. So I studied creative writing. So I said, let me go be an English teacher, right? Pero they put me for ENL, aka ESL, which is English as a new language or English as a second language. So they basically, I didn't really have a choice on what I was going to teach. They just tell you when you get in the program what you're going to teach. So because of whatever, they put me as ENL. So that means that I was the type of teacher who was teaching students, usually foreign language students, English. So all of my students usually was coming from other countries, and we didn't share the same language. So it kind of made teaching even more interesting. Okay, it made teaching even more interesting, especially because my training was in Queens. So when you're in Queens, you have a lot of students from all over the world. Queens is one of the most diverse places. So that was really fun and interesting. But you know, like when you're a mom, you just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what I have to do. Okay. So I just knew that. So I went into teaching, and I went into college to get my master's at City College. Okay. So City College is in Harlem in New York. And then I found my full-time teaching position in the Bronx. Okay. So I was teaching in the Bronx in a middle school as an ENL teacher. I was teaching 7th grade for about 2 years or 3. I quit in my 3rd year. Okay. That's what, I think I quit in my 3rd year. No, my 2nd. Time really be messing with me, okay? But I started teaching in 2017, and I resigned in 2020. Okay, so I started in 2017, I resigned in 2020. And so basically, I think that experience was very interesting. So a lot of people wanted to know, how was it as a teacher? So for me personally, like, especially being a teacher, I got a summer training, and then they're like, you're a full-time teacher with the teaching fellows. So basically I got a full-time teacher salary. I got all the benefits and everything, but you still don't know a lot. It's a lot about learning as you go. And this was a very challenging position for me to be in. Okay. It was very, very challenging. My workplace was very, very interesting. There was a lot of different personalities, and and there was a lot of, it felt like there was a lot of people in the building that the personalities, sometimes it felt like walking into a war zone. Okay. It felt like walking into a war zone. It felt really wild. It was heavy on my spirit. I was working in environments where I knew I was underappreciated, where I knew I wasn't feeling respected, where, I was feeling overlooked, where I felt like I couldn't be almost the best version of me. Okay. So this was very challenging, okay, for me. So I knew that, this was going to be something temporary, not something that I was going to be doing for a long time. But when the pressure starts, when everything starts cooking, I'm a mom, and as I mentioned to you, I had moved to my parents' house. So I was sharing a room with my son in my parents' house in Long Island. Okay. And it was a very small room. Okay. So it's like, and then there was a lot of people in the house, because I also have little sisters and my parents and everything. So it was just like a full house. Okay. And so it was just like, no, you know how it is. You just don't have anywhere that you can really feel like yourself, or it was a time where I felt like a lot of pressure and a lot of weight on me. And I felt like I couldn't do a lot of things. I couldn't do any of the things I wanted to do. Teachers don't make the money that they deserve to make. Okay. Teachers do not earn a lot of money. Okay. I was making more money as a waitress, way more money as a waitress. Okay. In San Francisco than I was as a teacher in New York. And then at least when I was in San Francisco, I had my own place. So I had roommates and everything, but I was still more independent. So you go from being more independent, traveling around, and then living in your parents' house with your kid. My baby daddy's in California. He ended up moving back to New York. That's a whole nother story. But it was just a lot. You know what I'm saying? So with feeling this pressure and everything, I'm like, you know what? I looked at myself in the mirror. Okay. I looked at myself. I know myself, okay? I know what my interests are. I know that I'm the type of person who there's a lot beneath the surface. You know, with a 12th house sun, there's a lot you observe, there's a lot you just know, but maybe you're not the one that's going to put it out there. But I have a lot of Gemini. I have a Gemini rising, Gemini moon, Gemini Jupiter, Gemini Mercury. So this is the communicator in me, okay? This is like, you know what? How can I communicate about what I really do care about? And so I started my tarot Instagram. Okay, so I started my tarot Instagram in 2017 in a grad school. In a grad school course, I was sitting in summer school and I was just thinking about all the people like I know who, you know, or seeing people who was like, you know what, they are living in their truth. They found something they're passionate about and they went for it and they go for it. And I say, you know what, I'm passionate about tarot and oracle cards. I had again, even though I had already been doing tarot, I started working with oracle cards when I moved back to New York. My mom had really gotten into to oracle cards all of a sudden. So I was really getting into oracle cards. So I said, you know what? Let me start this tarot Instagram and I'm just going to write. Originally, I had no intentions on putting myself on camera. I said, I'm going to write about the tarot. I'm going to write about the oracle. I'm going to, channel messages and just see what comes through. And this was literally the best decision I could have ever made in my life, okay? And I had no expectations when I was doing it. And that's something when something is soul led, because it went from tarot, something I use as a tool and giving, readings to my people, to my friends, to my family. And then all of a sudden here, I'm like, you know what? Let me take it to the point where I'm expressing, I'm using writing, creative writing, right? That was my focus. And my other love of tarot and mixing that together because I've always loved, all of the things of spirituality. And as well, when I was a child, spending time with physical witches and, reading grimoires and stuff like that. Like that's always been something that I know it just speaks to my soul. So I was like, let me start my Instagram. Had no expectations. I'm posting. And the thing about Instagram is it helped me to, me and find so many like minds. People want to hate on Instagram so bad, and I understand the complaints. I understand that the app is getting a little wild, but it has really helped me connect with my soul family all across America. Okay, so shout out to Instagram for that. Shout out to social media for that. People always want to hate and bash on social media, but there's good and bad to everything. Okay, and Instagram really helped me to find people that I was connected with in the soul family type of way. So as I'm being really interested in tarot, I'm like, damn, I really want to give more readings to people I don't know. Pero how am I going to do it? I thought about giving readings on the subway. I thought about giving readings in Prospect Park. I thought about, I've addressed coffee houses about, doing readings there. But it wasn't happening quickly. It just wasn't. So I'm like, let me put myself out there. And, I started, I was giving readings to like friends of friends over the phone and stuff like that at this time. I remember like after teaching and my son's asleep and I'm like, on the phone 8-9 p.m. giving tarot readings. And it's just like through doing tarot readings, I was getting a lot of confirmation that what I was saying was hitting, was resonating. I was picking up on specific details. And this really helped me gain faith in my work. And this also helped my clientele grow because people would tell people about me. Then I started offering readings on Instagram, in which case I did these live readings, like FaceTime readings. So I would call people on FaceTime and talk to them. So I would schedule this for weekends or when I was out of work. But listen, I was always working. That's something I need to know too. I was always working on Big Empress energy. I was working on it at school, at my job, wherever I was working. So what does that mean? Sometimes I would get downloads. I would have to write it down. I would tweet it out. And sometimes I would go live, at my job and I would give readings on Instagram Live. Okay, sometimes I would and I would get to work extra early, take pictures of tarot cards, and write up my post every rising before I even went into work. So I was really like on a schedule. So what I used to do is post every rising before work. And then I had the feeling, let me start recording myself. I started recording myself in Aquarius season of 2018. I started recording myself, Aquarius season, right? So this was February, early February. And once I started recording myself, everything just changed. I basically got a lot more eyes on me. I was doing my daily spirit teas in the rising, and everything was really just unfolding, and spirit was showing me my path. But still, I was like, you know, in it, right? I was really in the mix. Okay. I was still really a lot. I was still learning a lot. Okay. So another thing I started around this time was the Beloved Botanica. Okay. The Beloved Botanica, because I was going to the Botanica all the time. Okay. As well. I was in the Bronx. So I was by the best botanicas ever. Okay. The best botanicas. So I was getting herbs. I was getting candles, and I was making my own oils at my crib. So my first oil was my blessings oil. And that really helped me introduce me to so many blessings. And I also, because my work situation wasn't amazing, I was making protection oils, and I started noticing the work, the juju that I had, the fact that like the protection oil was really helping me. The gossiping did really calm down. The blessings did really start rolling in. And I also was sharing with my community, and I was getting amazing feedback. So that was another way that helped my spiritual business. So I was doing readings, then I was doing the Botanica, and then my heart got broke. Okay. So every time your heart breaks, it's a heart chakra expansion. It's changing your life for the better. Okay. So I was dating someone, and they ended up moving, and they ended up breaking my little heart. Okay. And I was done. I was shattered, because even though you could be psychic and you could know something, it's like you don't want to know it. You know what I'm saying? You still want to try it. I was still stubborn, okay? And this is called forcing instead of flowing, because that breakup was the best thing that could ever have happened to me, okay? Because when I had gotten, you know, when he's like, you know what, I just want to be friends and everything, I'm just going to move. I'm like, wow, okay. I was so sad. My heart chakra was like wounded, and I went and I got my first Reiki session, okay, for my heart, because I just didn't know what I was going to do. I was just tore up. Some of you guys might have seen me crying on live. That was because I was working so much, and then, you know, stressed out about my financials, stressed out about my living situation, stressed out about single parenting, and stressed out about now this, you know, situation coming to an end. So basically, I got my first Reiki session, and it really changed my life. I felt lighter. I felt the weight lifted off of me, and that made me a believer in Reiki and energy healing. Because if I could really feel lighter after something that weighed so heavily on me, I really have faith. So I said, what is this Reiki? You know, I got really into Reiki, started getting a lot of Reiki sessions. All of them were remote, okay, at this time. And then I decided to get my Reiki training. It was something Spirit was kind of guiding me towards. So I said, let me just do it. I got my Reiki training in Brooklyn in November of 2018. Was it 2018 or 2019? The time really be overlapping for me. It was 2019. Okay, it was 2019. So I did the Reiki thing in 2019. Yo, all day. All day. Hold up. okay. Sorry about that. I'm glad I got it though. My hang drum. My hang drum just came in, child. I'm so happy. Okay, so I went to go get Reiki training in Brooklyn, okay? And I did it for 2 days. I did Reiki 1 and Reiki 2. And I will drop my Reiki practitioner teacher in the description box. A lot of people ask me, and she is giving online Reiki classes. I completely recommend it. Okay, so what is so amazing is when I got Reiki attuned, I feel like all of my psychic senses were turned up a notch, okay? I started feeling things more clearly. I was clear. You know what it is? What's coming to my right now is that when you get light and energy, when you drop density, you raise your vibration, your psychic gifts open up. And something I want to say about psychic gifts is that we are all gifted. We are all gifted. It's not something that only certain people will do, but certain people are more tapped in. Certain people trust themselves more. Certain people, they practice, they dedicate. And the more that you strengthen your intuition, the more that you focus on that faith, the better you'll be able to use those skills, okay? The better you'll be able to feel that connection and know when you just know, okay? Instead of having that ego and the inner critic trying to tell you things you already know, okay? So after I started doing the Reiki, I started doing the Reiki sessions on myself, okay, and friends, and they were like, now I'm looking at this little Anubis I have, Anubis with the mummy, but it reminds me of Reiki because Reiki's with the hands. But anyways, I was just practicing this energy healing every single day, okay, and I was feeling it physically. My friends were feeling it physically, and I said, I would love to just do this with people. So I was doing it more remotely with like one-on-one clients as well, virtually. And I also was it was so crazy. I had gotten Reiki certified maybe in November. I think it was February 2020 when I got the idea at work to start offering this collective candle Reiki. And at that time, I was I would say that it was easy for me to want to talk myself out of it. It was easy for me to be like, no, let me not do that. I don't want people to think certain things, or, what if I don't have the credentials or whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? Pero I was like, let me just go with it. Like, something that I've learned on this journey is that the most important pivotal things for you, the way to open up yourself to your blessings, is to say yes to spirit and the divine ideas that you get. Everyone has a divine purpose. Everyone has divine guidance, but it's if you listen to it or not, okay? So when I started doing this collective candle Reiki, it was divinely guided for me to do it. I could have not listened, and I don't know where the heck I would be right now, but I did choose to listen. I did choose to take that leap of faith of doing the collective candle Reiki. And that really helped change my business, and it expanded my business so much because it was at an affordable rate and it reached a lot of people. Okay. And then I got the notion to do it with the moon cycles. So it was helping me, it's helping my community. And it was just some of the most powerful. They started taking my business to the next level in the way I just started feeling so connected to people. The feedback was incredible. The messages I was getting was incredible. And it was really helping me to unlock different layers. So, before, one of my strongest clairs was clairaudience. Then I started feeling a lot of like claircognizance, just what you know. And then now I'm letting myself feel more emotions, okay? So I'm getting more clairsentience. And just really opening up on all levels. And this is through dedication. This is through readings, constantly tapping in, constantly, praying, getting in more heavily with meditation, with stillness, with flow, and with your body, okay? It's about the body, mind, and the spirit. So when I started doing the Reiki, I was like, wow, like this is really, this is something that's really was helping me, okay? This was something that was really helping a lot of people. And this was something that really helped me to shift on what was possible. Okay. So when I started doing that, I started getting more financial stability. Okay. And this helped me to start saving, okay, to start saving and to invest my money back into my business. So I got a lot of herbs, I got a lot more candles, I was able to stock my botanica more, right? Doing more drops. But I was a one man show. So I was doing everything by myself, plus working, plus being a mom. So it was a lot. And I was doing this all in my parents' house in their space. So I had to deal with like leaving my stuff in the basement and having to go up like 2 to 3 floors to go back up to the room and then take everything back down to the basement because my dad didn't want my stuff in his area because it made him freaked out and everything. And like giving readings. And sometimes my dad is knocking on the door because I had no space. I didn't have my own space. I didn't have privacy. Everything I did was I had to make it work. I was doing readings in the bathroom, okay? I was doing readings in the car before work. Like I just really had that mentality where like this is my passion and I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna freaking do it. And it started to also pay off for me. So financially. So I was able to start saving, but I still wasn't trying to move out my parents' house because rent is really expensive in New York, especially where I live in Long Island. Mind you, I live in Long Island. I drive to the Bronx, so I'm in the car for 3 hours a day. So work just started stressing me out, especially as I started to make the same amount and more income on my entrepreneurship and on my spiritual work, and I wasn't feeling deserved or appreciated or respected at my job. It was a daily struggle, okay? It was a daily struggle where I was feeling a lot of shade from people, from other teachers, even, administration was hard to deal with. It wasn't easy. And then the school that I was working at, they started to put more pressure on the teachers, especially my pod, because of state tests. It's so sad to see what happens. Like I feel like it's not about education, it's about the test. And it was really disheartening. And I saw so many things that happened in that school that I was just like, education is or really feels like a very broken system. And it really feels like they do need a lot of like people who are bringing in that love and everything. But I just felt like I wasn't being used in the best way. I'm like, you know what, Spirit, like this isn't the best, like this is not the best thing for me. Like it was abusive. Sometimes I was like crying. I don't cry too much, okay, but sometimes I would be crying, okay. And then as I'm gaining popularity on Instagram, my students are noticing and they're calling me Big Empress Energy in the hallways, okay. And they're like, in the hallways, okay. So I was like, you know what, this is like a little bit like I'm outgrowing this. Like this is not feeling good to me anymore. I don't want to drive 3 hours every single day. I don't want to feel unappreciated. I don't want to like go to bed at like 2 a.m. every night and then wake up at 5 a.m. and do it all over again. I was waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. I had to leave my house at like 6 a.m. every day. Like I couldn't keep up with that. So I had wanted to resign. Pero I was like, let me try to wait until the end of the school year. But then we had coronavirus that hit, and then they closed the schools. They closed the schools around March, right when I was like, you know what, I don't know if I can make it to May because I was feeling so unappreciated, okay? And I was feeling so unappreciated and like uninspired. So I decided, okay, I'm going to stay because this is, a desperate situation. Like they need teachers. Okay. So I was working from home and I let them know in June or in May that I was going to be resigning from my position. And I was so happy. So I stopped teaching in around June, the end of June of 2020. And then ever since then I went full time. So, I think that if you're looking to make the switch from a full-time Bob job to your full-time like dream job, that what you may want to do is make sure that you are really dedicated to your dream job. You're doing what you have to do. Okay. I don't want to tell you to work all type of hours, but I was doing that. I didn't care because it was passionate. My passion was the energy that fueled me. My passion, my connection, the constant healing and growing really helped me to keep on. And just loving all the feedback that I got really helped me to keep on going. And once what I will say also, Spirit wants you guys to know is that when something is for you, you're going to get ideas. Spirit's going to give you crumbs, breadcrumbs, and you kind of have to take that leap of faith and follow the crumbs. Like for me, a crumb, starting my Instagram page, a crumb, recording myself, a crumb, Reiki, a crumb, monthly Reiki, and my botanica. Everything that happened is leading me to higher places. And once your finances at least get close to your Bob job, I would say cut the cord, okay? Cut the cord and know that you are guided and protected. If I could do it, you could do it, okay? This video is a lot longer than I intended for it to be. But I hope that it was helpful for you guys. Hopefully I answered a lot of the questions I did get on social media. And if you guys have any more questions, let me know. I could do a story tea part 2, but I think that this is like lengthy enough. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that, someone else asked me, where do I get my gifts from in my parents? My mother is, very in tune. My mother and my mother's mother also had a healing business. Pero she gave it up when she started doing and becoming more religious. She don't really do that, but my grandma used to have like a healing business, like kind of what I do. Like she did that. Like she healed people. She used with candles. She used the cards, but she didn't even need cards. She just could read your whole life just by looking at you. Yeah. What else? So this is something that, it could be passed down to you from people in your life. But a lot of times too, people get scared of their gifts. And I feel like this is a program to keep people from exploring their true natural abilities. Because if you don't think that you have any abilities, if you don't think that you have any power, if you don't think you have a gift of intuition, then how can you explore it? But I'm here to knock down those barriers and boundaries and tell you that you do. All you have to do is commit to your spirit, commit to your soul, and commit to your community. Consistency and being soul led, spirit led, doing things because you're called to, not because you think you're supposed to, is really gonna make the change and the difference, okay? And don't get discouraged because you feel like there's a lot of people who want to do what you want to do, because no one's gonna do it like you, boo. That's the most beautiful thing about our human life, is that we're all born looking different, expressing ourselves differently, even though we all come from the same source, okay? So it's very important to remember that diversity is beautiful, and do not be discouraged, because we need all the healers, we need all the readers, we need all the people who are awakening. And there's not just one way to be a healer or a spiritual entrepreneur. There's so many ways. Imagine if I had just limited myself to readings and I never did my botanica and I never did the Reiki. You know what I'm saying? You have to go where you're being led, because you might have one vision for yourself. My vision is to be a writer, and now look at me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still going to pursue that dream of being a writer. I'm still going to write a book. I'm still going to do all that. But it's like, we are multidimensional beings. That means we can have multiple purposes and paths. Okay, so that's how I want to end this, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched all the way over here, like, I just fucking love you so much. Thank you guys. I love you. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at Big Empress Energy. Bye.